what's up, folks? This is Alpha Matrix, and I'm doing the long overdue combination review for my custom Menasor that I just finished just a few days ago. I've been working on this project since November of last year, and a lot of people have given me a lot of praise since I posed him tonight and asked me how he goes together and how did you do it and stuff. So the best way, instead of to describe it, which would take too long in typing, I decided to do the review so you could all see how it works. And there's a big story behind it, which I figured you guys would all find interesting. So what better way to spend time together doing a cool review by giving you a cool backstory. Here you can see all the stuff is ready here for Menasor. No unnecessary parts are in this video, just what is needed. So let's start with the first part. Set that down. First thing is this part. This is a very critical part, of course. It's Menasor's upper body. This started out as just a Unicron chest chassis, and I decided to cut it in half and then keep cutting away until I had a gap like you see here. Originally I thought I made a mistake, but it turns out my biggest blunder wound up turning out to be one of my greatest successes in this custom hobby. And I stress this, and I hope everybody believes me, is that I'm very new at this. So anyway, enough of that. Basically, what inspired me to build Menasor is I've seen custom Menasors all over the place, but there was one that really caught my eye, and it was made by a gentleman, I think, by the name of Thy Vipra. He's a member of TFW 2005 forums, as am I, and I saw his Menasor, and it had a similar transformation to what I'm going to do to set up Motormaster for Menasor's upper body, and it inspired me to build my own. But I wanted to give my own, I wanted to put my own mark in the Menasor customs, and this is what I did. Anyway, what I did is I cut the chassis completely down the center, and I kept moving it apart, as I told you before, by cutting away a little bit at a time. And then what I did is I reinforced it with heavy grade styrene, which you can see here, which created a rigid frame. This is very strong. It's triple plates, cross beams, and then double plate in here. Same thing in the center, only it's crisscross. It's instead of being narrow, it's wider down here to make it strong, and the post right here, which I'll show you what it does eventually. And it's very, very strong, but it has a little bit of flex, which I wanted due to the fact that too rigid could mean easily broken, and it allows a little flexibility and a little bit of give, but still provides a lot of strength. Okay, let me show you how this works. Yeah, put this down for the moment. Now, let's get on to Motormaster. Motormaster is basically the Cybertron Optimus Prime mold with some modifications done to it. There's a little bit of a history with Motormaster for me. Is I was a big fan of him in the cartoon, and I wanted my Menasor to look like him, or similar to the Generation 1 Motormaster. And but I was trying to figure out a way for it to keep the rig, the cab, all black, just like he was in the cartoon. But in robot mode in the cartoon, he had a gray chest. So what I did is, that's where this puppy came into play, is this custom sleeper cap that I created out of styrene. What it does is it creates the illusion that I was looking for. This completely comes off, and what it does is in vehicle mode and in Menasor mode, all you see is the black cap. But if you remove this for robot mode, he has a gray chest, which I wanted. And also, he doesn't have a head, and the bot no longer has a head. The head comes off, because I custom made a head for him, as you probably saw in the video or the pictures that you saw on him, whether it's on TFW or Facebook. Plus I made custom stacks, which I really get a kick out of. I made these out of Starscream parts and thick 10 pieces, believe it or not. They came out really, really, really good. So enough of my rambling. I'll show you. Let's get him ready for Menasor mode. All you do is make sure there's a notch here. Just bend it away so it's like this, pretty much. Okay. And then what you do is I bring them apart a little bit. Actually, you can take them apart, but the whole leg is supposed to separate anyway, like this. But keep them together. And what you do is you take the frame and you have to get everything to slide in place and make sure it hugs the back of Motormaster, underneath the Motormaster, so the wheels get concealed behind the groove, like this. There, see? The wheels sink into the back. That's what they're supposed to do. Okay, and then the notch I showed you goes between the legs. And now you can, it's easier to do it this way, and then you just peg them back together. Make sure they're straight. Peg them back together, because it provides a little more stability. If I can even do it. Maybe I shouldn't have taken it apart. Just a moment. Gotta realign the pegs. Everything's so dang fiddly, especially on camera. Everything can go the way it should. Alright, there you go. And then you just bring it back together like that. And then what you do is, don't fall out. That would not be good. Keep it all together. And what you do is, you try to keep the legs level. Let me move the arm out of the way. It'll be a little bit easier to show you. See how the wheels are still hidden? Keep the legs level, straight across. And then once they're straight, at the knee joint, which is right there, and then you just bring it up this way. And try to go at the same time. That's the hard part, because the knees on this thing are very stiff, and you keep collapsing it until it goes into the chest, completely like this. Okay? Let me bring that arm down now, because I usually stand him up on his arms until I put the torso, the lower body together. And then what you do is you slide this back, if I can do it, grab it this way, put my fingers like this. I did break and dislocate my thumb, so my thumb doesn't work so good, so just bear with me. Okay. A while back, so my hand is still sore. What you do is you slide the feet pieces back, because they're on a spring, and what you do is you bend them now. Let me get it situated to it that goes the way it should, and then you keep. It's hard to get it to go back the way I want because it's on a spring, and the tension keeps throwing it back, slamming it backwards. And what it does is at the gap, you'll see these little rings, these little dents here. Those stay out. What you do is it keeps popping back out. It has nothing to do with the build. It has to do with those springs. Those springs are some pretty tight things. And then what you do is you force it back together, and it's nice and flush, like this. And then you can see here, this is the way it's supposed to look, just like this. Okay? And there you can see the cab, the Motormaster. I kind of like that. Okay. But also one of the reasons why I slid it back is it exposes a hole right there for Menasor's head. Okay, now before I finish putting the upper body together, I'm going to show you how to attach the leg bots, because they can be a bit of a challenge, and doing it when Menasor is all together is a real pain. So let's set this aside for the moment. Okay, put this aside. Okay, let's go to the lower body. The lower body, I did some work to as well. Before I attached the legs, I wanted to show you. With Devastator, as everybody saw, he had a lot of articulation in the legs, especially in the thighs and in the knees. He's got the Unicron legs and stuff with the joint in here to swivel at at the shin and knee, lower knee and stuff. But I wanted some more articulation similar to Devastator's. But I didn't want to use a Cybertron Starscream, or I didn't want to pay $40 for that matter for another one just to take the legs off. So what I did is I tried the same thing that I did on Devastator, only with some different parts and just using just the Unicron legs. And what I did is I cut them above the knee, and I put in Primus joints, swivel joints in there, and now he has articulation in the upper leg for more posing. Let's see, right here, just like this there. It's a little tight, which it should be, and that gives you an idea of some of the posability he has now, which I really am happy with. He stands really well. He looks really good in his in all kinds of different poses. So let's do the leg bots. Let me move the torso out of the way so I can show you Wild Rider and Breakdown. Here's Breakdown. He's already set up for his leg mode. And that's another thing I wanted to get into about this, is that I was shooting for cartoon accuracy. And in the cartoon, Menasor, like Superion, in the second season, they basically had cars slapped to a gigantic body. Cars or planes, for that matter. It looked like they were wearing suits. So that's one of the reasons why they changed a lot of the stuff in the second series, because the second part of the series, where Bruticus and Devastator were more involved transformations, where the limbs actually became, the bots actually became the limbs. I wanted to go with the more cartoon accurate look. And if you ever look at Menasor, the cars were attached to the back of the leg. So that's why I did the same thing, where I see a lot of them have the cars to the front. I wanted mine to the back. So anyway, here is, so enough of that. Let's show you how they go together. What you do is, I've already done it, but what you do is you take the back fenders and the spoiler, and you just move them and set them up just like you see here. And then what you do is, there's a peg on the back of the leg, right there. And what you do is you take the fist and you push it into the peg, onto the peg until it's snug. You don't have to over press it, but just enough to where you know it's on there. And what you do is you just take Breakdown and you finish folding them to the leg like you see here. That's how it's supposed to look for this mode. That's pretty much it. Now Wild Rider's the same way. Let's see, grab him. Wild Rider's already set up too. I really like Wild Rider. He came out really cool. Let's do the same thing to the back. Let's see. Same way. Via the peg. You put it just like so. Like, just similar to Breakdown. And what you do is, Wild Rider tends to stick out a little bit more, so what you do is you just do the same thing. Contour a little bit more. There it goes. Pretty much that's all she wrote. Okay. Now, there is the legs. We're starting to run out of time. We're down to 15 minutes. So I'm going to get cracking on this. And then what you do is you pretty much turn it around. And there you go. Now here's where the combining is going to get big, so I need to pick up something to stand it up on. A box or something. And that's where the box is coming. And here we go. Okay. Okay, what you do is, this is friction based, and there's a magnet behind there, and believe it or not, it holds it very, very well. It does not come off. But also, I must remind everybody that this Menasor is not for constant play. It's more for display. You pose it, you display, and that's it. But it can come apart if you mess with it too much. So what you do is you take the body, the upper body, and you see the groove there? Big, giant slide peg here. Okay. Make sure everything is level, like I mentioned before. Now I gotta make sure it's level, so just don't mind me. And it come undone when I pick the torso up, so just a moment. There it goes, back in place. It should be. Okay. Like I mentioned, make sure this is all level underneath, so it slides in place and clicks in place at the same time. And what you do is you slide it via friction. It's going to be a little tight, and that's what you want. You want it to have structural integrity and still slide like this. You don't have to slide it in all the way, just enough, and this is going to separate a little bit, and that's okay. There's no problems there. You want this. Okay. There. I just had to go past that gap there. There's a little bit of a gap there that has to be pressed through, and you just keep pressing forward until it slides in place. That's what you want. That's it. Okay, now we have what you see here. Menasor's pretty much getting there. Now, this is getting a little too big for my camera, so let's try to set him back just a little bit. And Menasor is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm sorry about this, folks. This happens with this big ogre. There he goes. He's level now. That's where it needs to be. Exactly where I want it. Problem of it is, he's always got to do this when I'm busy trying to put them together for you guys to see. He couldn't do this before. There. Okay. Now he's all together now. It was just not quite level. Okay, now what you do is you take the head, which means I'm going to have to adjust my camera just a little bit. See the peg right here. That peg's in right here. Actually, my bad, forgot something. Usually it's just a ball joint and a peg. I just made this piece. This is a little neck piece I made for Menasor to give him somewhat of a neck. What it does is you just take it, put it in through the peg hole there, Menasor, and what it does is it slides into a small groove in the chest cavity, which I probably didn't show you in the video, but what you do is this thing's going to be a pain in the ass to the very end. There it goes. Just like that. There you go. Okay, there you go. See, there you go. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass because I'm sitting far back, but it'll do. And then what you do is we're going to do the arm bots. Here is drag strip with a body kit from upgrade kit from our local customs. Pretty kick-ass. And what you do is you slightly separate the arms just a little bit, so it creates a small gap on either side. Gap, because usually it's flush. Okay? And then what you do is you just, let me turn the camera just a little bit onto the posts here, and you just slide it like that. One arm down. Okay. Now we take dead end, and it's pretty much the same way. He slides onto a peg. Let me turn the camera. Peg right there, and pretty much does the same thing. And they hold pretty well, better than I had hoped. And finally, what holds this together is a spring flexible breastplate that I made, which is, it's flexible, it's a little tight, and it's supposed to be that way, and it just sits just like this, and it keeps everything nice and tight inside inside the internal workings there. And then all you have to do is, I'm not going to pull out the rifle and put it in his hand, but here you can see the rifle, and and then the sword. The sword I made from a Crazy Debbie Predaking sword that I had, and it was a spare one, and I made the custom hilt and grip pieces for it. And then I'm not going to put it in his hand, but here you can see it. And I just usually put it right here, similar to like a sheath, like that, like that. There he is. Get the box out of the way. Here is Menasor, fully combined and ready to start kicking the snot out of anything that gets in his way. But there he is. Anyway, I'm really starting to run out of time, but I'll give you a quick walk around how it looks. And I want you to see it real quick before I shut the camera off. I'm down to my last 40 seconds. So anyway, there you go. Here he is. I hope you all like him. Sorry for the very long review, but this is the only way I could do it. Take care, everybody. Enjoy. Later.